Hello everyone, Saidu here. Welcome to another CCNA CyberOps labs. Now in this lab we are going to see how to locate Linux log files and also how to manipulate these log files. So the required resources for this particular lab is obviously going to be your CCNA CyberOps workstation, but any Linux machine or workstation should be fine. So for the start, what is a log file? So log files are files used by computers or applications to log events. So software programs, background process services, or transaction between services, including the operating system, do generate their own log files. Now we are going to see the example of web server log file. So any log file should have a timestamp. So this timestamp is the date and time that that particular event occur. That particular event occur. For example, Wednesday, March 22nd. So that is the time, that is the date and time will be 11:23:12 something something. So this is just an example of the time that that particular event actually occurred. So obviously this type field tells the user or the administrator what type of event is that. Every log file should have a PID. So this contains information about the process ID used by the program or the software or the operating system. For this particular log file, we do have a client. This support to record the IP address of the requesting client. For example, here we can see it there that the requesting IP address is 209.165.200.230. And then finally, we should have a description of the event. So that is basically what a web server log file looks like, just the basic stuff. Now I am on my Linux machine, my CyberOps workstation. I'll go ahead and log in as CyberOps. Now from here, I will launch my command prompt. Let me zoom in so that this would be visible. Now we do have a sample web server log file here in our CyberOps workstation. So I'll use my cat, use cat, then go to the file or the directory of var log, then log dash. So this is an example of the log file we have here in our CCNA CyberOps workstation. This is quite different from the one we saw, but obviously it's still web server log file. So you get to find the field that have information like the get request, you get the get messages, you get the presence of the client IP address. So you get different references to web browser and the HTTP version. So this actually confirms that it is a web server log file. Now the operating system also have its own log file. So we're going to see the example of the operating system log file here. So we go to this directory, use sudo. Now initially we saw how to use the cat command, but here we are going to use the more. The path is var log and then messages. So we have to enter the password, CyberOps. So here we have the example of the operating system, the log file of the operating system, depending on what actually happened on the operating system. So basically, a log file just tries to record the event that goes on a particular system or particular software. You get to see information like the booting process, the connection of new USB drive, for example. So we don't have any example of that here for now, but that is what the operating system log file does. Now, locating log file is easy if you really knows where that log file is located. So, but there are some situations where you don't know or you don't actually know the location of the log file. For example, in an unknown system of colleague. So what you do, let me first exit from here, use Control C, back here. Now, the documentation of any software should give you a hint on where should give you a hint on where you find the log files or many information regarding that particular software. So now here I'm going to use NGINX for example. Just try to see the manual page for that particular web server. So here, if you scroll, not scroll, use the space bar or the enter key to view more here. For example, we can see some useful information regarding the debugging log. Say to enable a debugging log, reconfigure NGINX to build with debugging. So this is the information because you can actually change or manipulate the configuration file using your text editor. And then here, after doing all the configuration, to set the log file path to log a path slash two slash log. Now going down, now here we can see that the configuration path is the main configuration file, which we'll see in a bit. And you see we have another one, error log file here. Now, let's try to locate the Nginx files. So, but before we do that, let's confirm that Nginx is actually running on this system. So, ps x and grep each to Nginx. So, if this Nginx is not running, what you do is you simply use the sudo usr spin Nginx and then say grep. So all right, now it's working. Now by design, this CyberOps workstation tries to maintain the default path for different files. For example, the var slash log path holds out the log files, and the etc directory holds the configuration file. So what we are going to do is try to see if we can find our nginx file in the etc folder in the etc directory. So let's try to locate nginx here. All right, we can see we have nginx here, right? That is the configuration file in the etc folder. So if we go a bit, I will say dash l for list, and then etc nginx here, we have a lot of information. For example, if we check, we should have a configuration file. Look at it here, nginx.conf. So we can actually edit this using either nano, or we can just simply view it as as cat c nginx then nginx.conf. This is the configuration file. Look at the content of the configuration file. So depending on what you want to manipulate, what you want to change, these hash are all commented out. So you can decide to configure or manipulate anything you want for that particular server. So now let's quickly look at the log file. Say var log c. Hopefully we should be able to find engine. Okay, we have it there. Here we have, no, look at it, we have it here. So we can see that we have one engine log here. We have logstash.log. Now we can still use ls to list the content of this particular directory. Say list. Let me first use sudo ls dash l var then log nginx. So now here we have other information like this. We have access.log.1.gz log.1.gz. The .gz log files above we are generated by log rotation service. So basically what it does is the system tried to rotate some information in the access.log so that the access.log is not overwhelmed or filled up. So what it does, it tries to rotate information so that you have your primary log file ready to record, or yeah, to record event, ensuring that the individual log file do not become too large. So always, but a new empty main log file is then created and used to store the latest log entries. So you can actually monitor log file in a real time. So you can use different method to do that. So let's start with this sudo tail. So the tail, what the tail does, unlike the cat or more, the tail tries to show by default the last 10 lines of the output. So we are going to use the tail and using the default settings, tail.log ng inx then access.log. So that is the tail. So here is just showing the last 10 lines of the access log file. So but you can actually specify from what line you want the tail to start showing you from. Let's say I want to change it to, let me see if I can edit this line, no, dash n, to specify the line number, say 5. Now it has been reduced from the default 10 to now 5 on my screen, 5 lines. So you can actually check using, you can use tail with the dash F option. So this dash F option is just like saying follow. So it tries to follow the real event as it is happening. So we are going to use that, say sudo tail dash F, then the location is bar log log ng inx, then nginx access, not access log. Here now it is listening. So if we to go to my browser, let me launch my browser here. So from my browser here, I'll just enter the address as 127.0.0. Hey, okay. I think I need to close this. Let me have my command prompt here and then my here. Now, if you pay attention to this command line, you see that event being recorded here. See, that is that. So, all right. So let me do that again. Say here, open a new web page. Sorry, new tab. All right. So if you pay attention to this, you will actually see that the event recorder is recording in real time. So the moment I enter this IP address, it will try to show me that something has changed. It's 127. So you see that it actually changed from what it was to something like this. So that is how dash F works. So it tries to follow the real time event. Now let's quickly look at a very robust tool called the journal CTL. Now the journal CTL is a great tool for event recording or for logging for logging file. So what I'm going to try out now is just say journal CTL. Then from here, I enter here. I have something like this. So right at the top, you get some notification saying that you are currently not seeing message from other user. This is because I just entered the journal CTL without the sudo command. So this will just basically show me some of the log, not everything from the entire system. So it also begin with this line that says logs begin at this date and time. So it definitely tells you when the log begin so that you'll not be assuming that it is from the wrong date. So this will give you a clear vision or message that tells you when that recording actually start. Now there are a lot of information that you can derive from this journal CTL, something like journal CTL dash B. So you can always go to the man page and see the options that you can use. Now, but the one that we are going to see here is this one, journal CTL dash B. So what this does is try to show you the booting information. So you can actually even change it to, let's say you want to view for the last two booting processes or information. This will show you that. So you can even use a an option that says, okay, first let's see this one. Say sudo, not sudo, just up, and then dash list view list dash. All right. So here, okay, we don't have. Okay, yeah, it took a moment to show. So look at all the information that are related to that boot. So you can also use a range to tell or specify from when you want to view, for example, the bootings or something like that. You want to view the log from, let's say, since 2 hours. Say sudo journal ctl. Then you enter, you specify this, say since, specify the time, say 2 hours ago. Since 2 hours ago, I didn't, okay, I did not spell the journal correctly. So, oh, set up that. So this will show you the information since 2 hours ago. You can also do since 1 day ago. For example, since 1 day ago. So look at you. We also have some logs that are here since 1 day ago. So that is journal city. It is very used. So let's check with the example that we have been seeing right here. Journal ctl dash u nginx. Is it the services? Not the service. All right. Now we this are the information that we got back from using this journal ctl dash u. We specify the service that we want to see. For this example, we are looking at the nginx server or service. So using the dash u allows you to specify a particular service that you want to check there. So you can still use this. For example, the dash f we saw initially. You can use say sudo. We saw it using the tail, so you can use it in journal to say sudo ur journal ctl then dash f. So entering now this journal is listening to see what will happen to the system. For example, TL to mix some services to see what is happening with that particular service. So for example, here we want to see what is happening with our nginx server. Say sudo journal ctl, then now u option will specify the service that we want to monitor in real time. nginx nginx.services, then we say other service, then we use the dash f option to specify that we want it to monitor the nginx service in real time. So here, see, close this and close this, close all tabs. So let me open my web browser again. All right. So from here, now try to just focus on the command line and see. Okay, look at, we have new record here that says you have something something. So it's just a message telling you what is happening with that particular request. So here is, we got this. So that is the benefit of using the dash f option. So in recap, we saw what log files are. We saw how to locate log file in Linux, and we also see how to locate a log file in the machine that is not yours, meaning you don't know where the log file is. So that is that. Okay, we also saw how to do the monitoring after locating the log file. You view it using the cat. You can view it using the more. You can use it either using the tail. So we saw some basic manipulation of the command tail, because you can use it with other options to provide or to filter down to your desired need. You can use the scenes time to specify the time range that you want to view. We saw that you can use tail to specify the amount of lines that you want it to be viewed. You want it to show you it, either you left it the default, which will show you the last 10 lines. If you want, you can edit that, or you can use the dash n option and specify the amount of line that you want to view on your screen. Now, log files are very, very important aspect of system administrator, because these are the files that the system admin or the professional will always refer to whenever something happened to the system, because they have their they have the timestamp, they have the type of the message, they have the descriptions, they have all those information to help the individual identify what happened and at what time the event occurred. So that is that. I hope you learned something from it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.